Oh boy, let me warm it up for this one. I need to stretch it out a little because I'm gonna let it rip here. Today's topic is one that we need to get a little fired up about. And you know, if you can't tell it like it is on your own YouTube channel, where the heck can you? So today I wanna get right into a topic. It's an attitude actually that I've seen for years, an attitude aimed at foreigners who live abroad. And we need to unpack it. So it's this whole, if you hate France, then go home. It's a mentality I'm sure you've seen hurled in people's faces when they express a part of living abroad they don't like. Have you seen it? And you really don't have to look far. You know, you go to the YouTube comment sections on Facebook and you see this sort of sentiment directed at foreigners living abroad and people in general. When they express any dissatisfaction or critical thought about any aspect of our new home, people are quick to jump in with that oh so tired refrain,
well, if you don't like it, go home.
And look, I want to approach this thoughtfully because I think it's a lack of understanding and empathy for sure, and we need to talk about it, so let's go. All right, first, welcome, bienvenue. I'm Diane. This is We in France, where we talk about everyday French life and beyond from the perspective of an American who's lived here since 2012. So a lot of the things that I talk about here are from that point of view. It's my lived experience. And of course, this can apply to other countries and of course, people in their home country. It's just the angle that I'm going to approach it as an American in France. So first, let's just start off with this whole,
if you aren't happy here, then leave.
The mentality is above all rude and it lacks understanding. That's not debatable, you know, and if you've been on the receiving end of this faceless and brainless sort of commentary, I'm sorry, it never feels very good. I've been there. But sadly, it's par for the course online and unfortunately in real life as well. People say it without thinking at all, and it's maddening. And just to give you some personal examples, this is a screenshot of a few YouTube comments where people have completely missed the point. They've missed what I'm trying to say, and I don't know why they thought this commentary was warranted. It's certainly not helpful. Now, I feel that people get really angry when you or triggered, right? When you voice anything that goes against their preconceived notions of what life abroad should be like, as if you're shattering their hopes and dreams. You know, it's as if your critique or what you don't like is gonna rub off on them and change their expat experience or just what they built it up to be in their head. And for me, I feel like when people say these things, it tells me that the person doing the shaming places a really high value on the idea of living abroad. To them, it's something to view as a positive. It's a great opportunity. It's something they would love to do, to be thankful for. Maybe it's something they've already done themselves. And it is all of these things. It is. But living abroad is not without its drawbacks. And I want to make that clear. So, for anyone who may think otherwise, let me reiterate that living abroad is not a prize that we randomly win that falls into our laps like a free vacation that you win on The Price is Right. It's not like that. Careful consideration and planning, not to mention sacrifice and compromise, all of that goes into such a life-changing decision. No one makes it lightly. Now, what's behind this mentality, you ask? Where does it come from? After living abroad now for nearly 10 years, I get the feeling that the people who are triggered enough to just lash out with these rude comments, if anyone complains about anything, I feel that in their minds, it's almost like we don't deserve to live abroad. Stick with me. It's like they think we're so lucky for the privilege that just fell into our laps that we have to love every second because they loved Paris on vacation, so we should love it, right? If we don't appreciate it enough, we don't deserve to be here. So to them, living abroad is up on this untouchable pedestal, and anyone at all who says anything critical gets shut down. And something else I want to acknowledge, hear this, is that there's a difference between blowing off steam once in a while and being so deeply bothered by something that you would actually want to leave, and when you're just in need of support, right? My YouTube follower, Rachel, she's wonderful. Hello, Rachel. She perfectly explains where this attitude can stem from. And I just want to read you a part of her comment. So she's talking about moving abroad and says, it's a prize that only the lucky few can attain. So complaining or even mentioning anything negative about the experience seems like the person is spoiled, like they have this golden egg and they're complaining that it's not shiny enough. Not saying I feel this way, of course, but I think that's how it's often viewed. And end of quote. I think Rachel is spot on. Okay, so you might be asking, well, why are these rude comments?
If you don't like France, go home.
Why are they problematic, you ask? Well, one, they're missing the point. And two, they're extremely dismissive and invalidating. There's no better way to make a person feel less than and like someone whose feelings don't matter. So I feel like when someone shows up to talk about something hard, something they don't like, something that's bothering them, something they're struggling with, whatever, the best way to respond is not with the flippant, well, if you don't like France, then go home. It shuts down any meaningful conversation. There's no chance for a conversation after that. Where do you go? And it leaves two people where they started in opposing corners, just completely apart in terms of understanding and connection. And really, all it does is put the person on the defensive, dismiss the person, not just their feelings, dismiss the person and invalidate them. And we never know if someone's blowing off steam or if they're deeply struggling. You know, be kind. And if you can't do that, maybe it's best not to say anything at all. And I feel like another reason why this mentality is problematic is because it's not a solution. It's like saying, oh, okay, well, if there's something you don't like in your life, if there's something giving you trouble, well, I have the answer. Just run away from your problems. Escape. Don't try to work on it. Don't try to come to an understanding. Don't try to improve things. Just leave. Way to problem solve. Like, you have an argument with your spouse. Well, just divorce him. The kid's acting up. Well, just leave him on the corner somewhere. Does your roof need to be repaired? You have a leak in your roof? Don't fix it, just buy a new house. Like what? That's insane, right? I just feel like telling someone that if they don't like something, they should go home. It does nothing to help the person move forward and feel better. Not in France, not in your home country, not anywhere. It keeps things as they are. It offers no solution, no understanding. And sure, I get it. Maybe it's not our place or our calling to help someone we don't even know to feel better. I mean, the world's too big. We don't have enough time. I get it. But it's also not our place to make someone feel worse. Don't contribute to that, especially not behind the anonymity of our computer screens. Trust me, comments like that, I'll say it again, it makes the person on the receiving end feel worse. And sometimes people are going through some stuff and they don't need to feel worse. You know, do you really want to be part of putting that energy out into the world? Next, a big point is not everyone can go home. You know, there's a difference between complaining just a vent and actually hating something so much that you consider leaving. And like I said, some people can't go home. They have custody arrangements. They have financial obligations. They don't have the money to leave. It would just be too difficult with their job, their kids, financial barriers, language barriers, an unstable government, medical issues, what have you, even caring for elderly parents, and maybe home is worse than where they currently live. So it would make no sense for them to move there. Maybe they're just looking for a little support. And I could say from personal experience, maybe people are just doing the best they can in their current situation. And their best sometimes, it comes with venting. Because yeah, life is hard and sometimes things aren't likely to change anytime soon. And I feel like no one has the right to tell anyone else to go home. Just no, don't tell other people what they should do. And something that just makes me laugh at this point, because trust me, I've been writing this script for years now and I finally got my words together. This is a simplistic mindset. The whole mentality of,
oh, your friend sucks, you don't like it, go home.
It reflects the fact, other than the person saying it is a rude human being, it reflects a simplistic mindset that completely lacks any ability to think critically. Like, oh my gosh, right? Why didn't I think of that? Of course. I can just pick up and leave. Let me go to the airport now. Gee, thanks. That solves it. I'll go home. Thank you. Thank you.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
No, come on. It's okay not to like every single aspect of where you live. Doesn't mean France sucks. You'd be hard pressed to find anyone who loves every single aspect of their life anywhere in the world. So where's that leave us? I think, just to explain a little more, it's like people don't have room in their minds to understand that anyone, even slightly criticizing or complaining or speaking negatively about any aspect of their life, it doesn't mean they're so deeply unhappy that they would move home or that they should move home. Like it's the perfect solution. Problems follow you. And it definitely doesn't mean they don't deserve to live abroad. And just a funny thing, people will tell you all the time, French people will tell you this about themselves. They love to complain. It's an absurd thing to say. French people, they're known to be complainers. They know this about themselves. They joke about it. On any given day, the topic of the day is the weather, the strike, the construction. I mean, you name it. It's fair game. So does that mean that French people should leave their own country because they don't like everything about la belle France? No. Sometimes you just want to flap your lip a little bit, but you have to be careful who you do that with. All right, next up, I want to get into this romanticizing life abroad online. And I mentioned that I see this kind of, if you hate France, then leave attitude. I see that on YouTube. I see it on social media. And the truth is, there is a landslide of pro living abroad content out there. It's selling the dream, selling the lifestyle as an escape that everyone should do or that everyone can do. And we see the highlights of travel and the glamour glamour and all the interesting cultural tidbits and the photos. You know, I'm part of that, I admit it, but living abroad in France or anywhere, it's also real life, and it's so important to show the not so glamorous aspects as well, and I make sure I'm a part of that too, but that doesn't sell courses or get likes. And before I go any further, I want to be really clear about something. There is a major difference between being negative, being judgmental, disrespectful, French bashing, and just sharing part of your reality as it is. Maybe the line's a fine one for some of you, but I feel like even when I try to be respectful, I share something that I'm not a fan of. Not in a complaining or disrespectful kind of way in the least. Just saying, hey, I don't care for this. This isn't great. People will jump on you and they only see what they want to see, as if you're not even allowed to voice any cons. Because, well, see above, see what I said a few minutes ago. You don't deserve to be somewhere if you don't love every aspect of your life 24/7. And I feel bloggers, YouTubers like me, we feel pressure to only show the rainbows and the unicorn aspects of life in France because it's hard to say something difficult. It's hard. But that only paints an unrealistic picture of what life can be like abroad. And when we're made to feel like we can't say a word without being attacked or made to feel stupid or judged over and over, well, what do? Well, we shut up. But I'm not changing what I do here. I'm not stopping to voice my concerns or whatever. It's always been important to me to show both sides of the coin. Not in a complaining or disrespectful way, no, but hey, this is life abroad too. And being told that if you don't like France, you should go home, it makes us feel like we've done something wrong and it's our fault if we're not happy all the time. So then it could force us to kind of shift the conversation to a fake, overly toxically positive, shiny one, which completely skews what life abroad can be like. It masks the challenges, and I feel that does a disservice to my viewers, to my blog readers, because they get a skewed impression of what life abroad is like. Now, what it comes down to is that a few negatives don't really matter overall. I think most people get that. Just because you express negatives doesn't mean the overall living abroad experience is negative. For me, the positives by far outweigh the negatives. I wouldn't be here otherwise, but there still are negatives. And this one's important. I feel like you can still want to live somewhere. You can know it's right for you while simultaneously knowing you don't love everything about a place. It's kind of a normal way to think, but people don't always think normally. I feel like the positives are always the most visible, as they should be, but not without showing both sides. You know, it's just misleading and damaging, I feel. And just a personal note, I get emails pretty much weekly from foreigners in France who regret their move abroad, thinking maybe it would have been easier or just better in some way than the reality, because everyone visible online, they hype up that living abroad experience to be larger than life. And yes, it deserves to be hyped up. I want to underline that because there are so many positives that I'll never take for granted, but there still are negatives, right? So does France suck? No, a lack of understanding does though. And when we speak up about something bothering us or even just something we don't particularly care for and are told that if we don't like it, we should go home, well, where's that leave us? You know, personally, it's left me feeling stuck, kind of somewhere between hopelessly misunderstood and sadly raging. I feel like it makes us feel something's wrong with us, that we're made to feel if we aren't happy with some aspect of our life, that the problem lies within us. And we should get over it and leave because everyone else is a shiny, happy little human. That's obviously not reality, but it can feel this way. And my heart goes out to anyone struggling with depression or mental health issues and they're told this stuff. It can make you feel lower than low. And my advice is find people who you trust. Find people who will listen without judgment. These people are gold. And ignore the rest of them, right? To wrap up, I feel like some people are so sold on the idea of living abroad in their adoptive country that they have zero tolerance and understanding for people who are struggling, missing home, or really just having a bad day. We all have those. Or people who maybe have legit concerns with some aspect of their life abroad and just want to be heard, or they're trying to make things better. Above all experiences are valid. You matter. No one's life is going to mirror anyone else's, and we could all learn from each other, or at the very least be tolerant and respectful. And it's always good to lend a helping hand, however we're able to do that. And yeah, honestly, I'll say it again. No one has the right to tell you to go home. They don't know you. They've never walked a day in your shoes. And honestly, would you want someone so dismissive and naive to know you anyway? I wouldn't. Those people don't matter, okay? So keep your head up. That's what I'm doing. I appreciate all of you if you've made it this far. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, if you've seen it, if you've been on the receiving end, or maybe if you're reformed, rude person online. I'd like to hear from you as well. As always, I really do appreciate you being here. I say that all the time. I do have a line of merch as well. Impec, one of my favorite French words. This is a premium v-neck in gray. It's one of my favorite items. If you're not into shirts, I have mugs and all kinds of things. Items I designed for the Francophile in your life, or maybe you yourself. I would love your support, and they make great holiday gifts as we go into the holiday season. So check out my links below, sign up for the newsletter, and I'll see you back here on We in France soon. Salut!